So, welcome everybody. Welcome, 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 welcome. The joy and the power of sacred sound. The joy and the power of sacred sound. Just begin right now. See if you can actually sense silence. You might begin with the gateway of the ears. What do I mean? Well, freshly elongate your spine. So your head, your neck, and your trunk are in a long line. And most of us are in chairs. So if you're in a chair, your feet are both flat on the floor. Unless you're sitting cross-legged somehow in a chair, your feet are both flat on the floor. And just notice, especially if that's a shift from the posture you did have, what feels different when you elongate your spine? When you elongate your spine and then you tip your chin forward a little bit, almost like you're holding an apple under your chin without strain. It's creating an opening, which is a very important gateway energetically between the base of the skull and the top vertebrae. It also just physically feels good to offer that space. There's many times during the day we don't realize we're tipping back and we're compressing unnecessarily. So just that long spine, feet are flat on the floor. And then the next invitation is a form of concentration. Without concentration being developed over time, and 30 some odd years later of my formal practice, I'm still deepening and developing and refining concentration. You see, enlightened awareness is already everywhere, as is love. So concentration is not grasping at something. It's not like you have to, strain your face to concentrate. In fact, that creates a difficulty in concentration. So concentration is a balance between attention, non-grasping, focused attention, and ease. Without the ease, there's no receptivity to being in discovery of what I haven't yet noticed, heard, considered. And all of us, no matter how far along we may be on the path, need to see what is new now, again and again and again. There's not an end to the path. There's not an end to the path. There are certain milestones that happen, and there are many awakenings. There are many awakenings. Many of you here on this, who are here for the live recording of this session, have had awakenings. And they were very powerful. And they maybe affected your state of consciousness and your point of view and how you felt as you for some period of time. And then it maybe seemed like you forgot it or lost it. Raise your hand on the live if that's happened to you. Yeah. So compassion, because many hands, if not all of them, went up. Compassion. Oh, what must that be like for somebody other than me who has a big opening in consciousness and then feels like they lost it? What must that feel like? Does that tenderize your heart in some way when you think it's somebody else, somebody lovely? Now everybody else is thinking about you because you're somebody lovely to them. So we want compassion to be something we grow. There's two main things we're working with on the path of awakening, the path of enlightenment, the path of self-realization. Cultivation of emptiness and cultivation of compassion. And they are actually not two, they are the front and the back of one hand. Not even front and back. This is just a way to try and talk about them. They're not even that far apart as front and the back of the hand. Compassion and emptiness. So sacred sound is a way to come into deeper and deeper direct contact with our true nature, which is the true nature of all of existence. And we talk about it directionally, like going within. This is such familiar language in so many languages. Going within. Oh, all true power is within. What do we mean by within? Scan your body right now. You can do this with your eyes closed or open. Scan your body and see if you can find a physical location that's yourself. Start with your foot, your right foot. Is yourself in your right foot? Can you find a self in your right foot? Nope. You can find body sensations. You can find structures, all of which will be gone in 1,000 years. Most likely, unless you're some rare class of being. And in that case, please fly to LA so I can meet you and touch your feet. And ask you some good questions. Now move to your left hand. Can you find a self in your left hand? Yourself. Can you find yourself in your left hand? Nope. What about in your right eye? Nope. In your cranium? Nope. Well, where is it? I'm pointing at, and we're not going to do a deep retreat teaching here, which is where this is best revealed, is in retreat, in the circumstance of retreat or in an immersion, where there's longer time to tease things out. But a lot can happen here quickly. I mean, it already has, perhaps. Emptiness of self. And I'm using Buddhist terminology. Emptiness of self. What is the self that you think you are? Just ask yourself right now, what is myself? If I was going to have to be on the hook, and I was in a really good mood, and I had had enough rest and caffeine, and I'm showered and fed, so I've got all my cylinders firing well, and somebody said, and I'm going to go for answering, what is yourself? What would you say? What would you actually say? It's if you really slow down and you're not caught in your thinking mind, it's revealing, profoundly revealing, that there is no such thing. There's memories of events which we don't even know if they're accurate, because if we ask 20 other people who were there, if there were enough people, each person may have a very different memory of that event. So I'm not my memories. Okay, am I my thoughts? Am I my thoughts? Well, I don't know about you, but I have plenty of times, more so with all these decades of practice, with no thought, and yet I still exist. So we're still looking at the emptiness here, the emptiness of self. Emptiness of self is not a deficiency or something's missing. It's a recognition of the insubstantiality, the impermanence of the things we sometimes lean on reactively that give us a sense of ourself. And yet, we're none of those things in any sort of a permanent fashion. They matter. Boundaries matter. When it's time to go to sleep tonight, I'm going to come into my house instead of just go up the street to some random house and go in and lay in their bed. So boundaries do matter. Even though their house is impermanent and my house is impermanent and temporary, it still matters. So the relative reality of you being a particular person with a particular name, paying your taxes and receiving your income and chewing your food thoroughly before you swallow, all those things, yeah, they matter. What does emptiness do for us when we begin to really realize it and realize it more deeply? It frees us from reactivity. What would it be like? Can you imagine going through a whole day not having to be annoyed at anything? Like a whole day, and knowing it, yeah? So many times we have beautiful periods of no thought and no reactivity, but we're kind of checked out, so we don't even know it enough to celebrate it. But it does happen, and it is available. And sacred sound, working with mantras, chanting mantras, is a powerful way to quiet the mind, so to speak. Said another way, to shift the nervous system in such a way that we recognize the shimmering dynamic silence, which is an expression of the creative power of life. Whatever your tradition of religion or orientation of spirituality has been, there are certain things that when we inquire, when we look directly from our experience, and we're supporting our nervous system to be relaxed, we can see a lot of these things directly. We may not be able to describe it or write about it yet to somebody else in any skillful way, but we can taste it. A baby is immersed in the ocean of oneness up until a certain age. However, the baby does not yet have the ability to reflect on their oneness. So it's just there. And that's kind of like most of us until we can, or in the moments we're checked out. We're immersed in this ocean of oneness. We're one with all of creation and all the powers of creation. We have so much more power than we've been led to believe by our mind or others. And yet, it's just sitting there without being tuned into. This infinite compassion, this infinite love. So now let's shift over. We're talking about emptiness. Now let's talk about compassion. Compassion. Ooh, compassion. Such a tricky one to describe because it's so much bigger than what most of us were trained to believe. So compassion does not require us to suffer. We'll feel tenderness, we'll feel poignancy, we may feel intense sensations in the heart. But we don't have to suffer. When we're really tuning to compassion, it's so coherent and impersonal. It doesn't belong to anybody. It's part of Source that can flow through as an unbelievably insurmountable, unsurpassable power. A power, an energy. See if you can reflect on some moment in your own life, or perhaps something you watched. Some of these videos that go around on the social media platforms can really show some of these things. Compassion. When you or somebody you observed experienced transformation just receiving compassion, can you reflect on that? What's happening in your body and your breath and in your mind as you reflect on you or someone you care about being the recipient of compassion? What's happening? I'm delighted to remind you that you'll be able to re-watch this recording as often as you like. And I encourage you to do so because there's going to be a lot here. A lot here. And there already has been. That will add up to ways you can orient in your moments, in your day, in your night. So instead of waiting for your formal practice of meditation or mantra or whatever it might be, you can be in the feeling tone of emptiness and compassion, wakefulness, more and more with practice. And mantra is one of the portable ways to do that. There's so many times during the day when we're not required to be speaking out loud or thinking in words. This is when this body mind, me, is repeating mantras for 2 years. I've lost count. Majority of the time I'm in mantra. What is it about that? Well, let's look at the translation. Even though most of Sanskrit, and that's really what's sourcing my teachings today, is the Sanskrit tradition that comes from the Indian subcontinent. Sanskrit is a vibrational language. It's holographic. I struggle to describe holographic to you. Sometimes I describe it the way I've been taught, which is a hologram. So if you've ever seen a hologram, like an actual hologram where it looks like a solid image, but it's kind of made of light, any particle of the hologram contains the entire image. If I say banana in English, so what? But if I say Shakti, which is a Sanskrit word for the consciousness power of creation itself, that word is not just an empty word, it's actually organizing the sounds that evokes what's being said. So when you're repeating a mantra, and a mantra wasn't made up by a person. True mantras were not just somebody sat down and Joe and Bob were like, let's make some mantras for manifesting food or manifesting money let's see, what syllables will we put? No, it's not like that. The sages in deep states of consciousness heard, shruti, they heard these things and then realized, and this is a very reduced way of describing all that can happen with Sanskrit, they could reverse engineer, they could use the same sounds to reopen to those states of consciousness. And that's exactly what we're going to be playing with and exploring today. Some of you have a lot of experience with mantras. And yet, I'm excited to tell you that there's more. There's always more to discover. So how will you organize your breath, your imagination, your heart, even if you've come from a really rough circumstance and you came into this, and if you did, if you came in here with some suffering, you still belong and you're welcome. That's what compassion does. And you watch as your energy state changes through your participation with this master class, how your thoughts change as your energy state changes, how your body feels changes as your energy state changes, how your emotions seem to be playing out change as your energy state changes. Streaming throughout and really causing this workshop is what's called grace, the energy that makes the impossible possible. Another name for one of the many flavors of creative power that creates galaxies and worlds and black holes and supernovas and things we don't even know about yet. Do you know that there's so many extraordinary things in the multiverse, in the cosmos, that we don't even know anything about yet? And that could possibly change our entire understanding of things we consider important. So what is it to make ourselves available to the transformation that wisdom can provide through direct experience here and now? What is that? Play, play. And when you're no longer in the formal master class, the workshop, what will you take with you? Be listening for that throughout. What are some things I might take with me and put into practice, or deepen my practice, or playfully shift my practice a little bit to explore? I noticed, so I've been having this interesting thing where when I'm walking, especially if I'm carrying my gym bag, which is kind of heavy with stuff in it, when I'm carrying it, I've been noticing something that feels like it's moving, like two things touching each other and kind of moving underneath the left rib cage. And I've been sort of concerned. And then yesterday was chest day, weights. And I use this cable machine because I can lift and lower these arms that the cables are coming off of. Well, there's this one move I've been doing for a number of years on this same machine, and I noticed for the first time after a month of contemplating what is causing this sensation in my body. What might I be doing that's creating a challenge that I can do differently? And I notice as I'm doing this pressing forward, and I'm leaned forward, and I've got one foot back, I'm in a lunge, and I feel this whole area tight and almost fiery. And it took me, I was a little slow on the uptake because I was really into my music. I was listening to some really good music with some really great beats and really giving me a lot of inspiration. So I was so focused on my experience and the joy and the, that lovely. And then I noticed it on the third set. Oh, I need to change. And so I immediately did. I need to change the exercise that I'm doing. I've been doing this for a long time. I need to do something different. I need to cross-train. That's the invitation here, is to cross-train. Now, if you're brand new to this kind of work, don't worry about cross-training. You just pick up what you can pick up and then watch it another time and pick up what you pick up and see what you can put into play. Those of you who've been around for a while, how is grace, how is the energy of creation, the compassionate empty field of creation, encouraging you to take the next step in your development of awakened awareness? Enlightenment is a real thing. Awakened awareness is a real thing. So, we're going to begin Unpacking mantra. One of the translations of mantra is protector of the mind. Manas is a indicative of an aspect of mind. Tra can mean vehicle. Protector or vehicle of the mind. So it's also a vehicle for the mind. Mantra is a vehicle. What's a vehicle? Well, you get in the car to go somewhere, right? It's your vehicle. It takes you from A to B quicker than you would have gotten there on foot, usually, unless you live in Los Angeles, and then there's places where you could have walked there by now, depending on the time of the day you're in traffic. So mantra is a vehicle and a protector. Mantra also contains the fruit of the practice. The goal of the practice is sonically, through the sound forms, already shimmering within the syllables of whatever the mantra is. Om is a mantra. There are two different versions of it that are distinct. I'm not going to get into that level of detail with you, but there's Om as an O-M sound, and there's Aum, A-U-M. A-U-M. We're going to work with the second one right now. And some of you have done this before, so be brand new at it. Here, brand new. So elongate your spine once again, especially if you've kind of tipped forward. This is a natural thing. Don't judge it when your posture tips forward. Just pull it back. And I love this instruction I learned recently on this Mahamudra meditation retreat. Sense your shoulder blades right now. And if you're not having back pockets, if you don't have back pockets, imagine you had back pockets on pants you're wearing right now in your seat, and you're tucking your shoulder blades. I know they're not actually that long. You imagine they are. Tucking your shoulder blades into those back pockets physically. So what that does is it creates a lift in your chest. And that is so wonderful for getting a full breath. Now, make the sound out loud of ah, but elongated. Ah. Notice where you feel that in your mouth. You feel it in the back of the throat. Ah. Now the sound ooh, ooh, ooh. Try not to purse your lips too much, or that'll confuse you when I say where are you feeling it the most. If your lips are super pursed, you're going to think it's in your lips. It's not. It's in the roof of your mouth. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Now, like you just tasted the loveliest thing. I make this ceremonial cacao lately, every day, and with hot water. And it melts into the hot water. And the smell of the melting cacao is like, take me now. I'm in heaven. This is great. This is all I need. That smell. Now let's put it all together, but slowly. And maybe close your eyes if that's easier for you to notice interior sensations and feeling tones. Or half lower your eyelids and don't look at the screen for now. And pause when you stop vocalizing and notice what you're feeling. The vibration continues. The vibration continues. Raise your hand in the live if you feel the vibration that continues after you. Isn't that cool? Let's do that 3 more times at your own pace. And then pause and feel. Pause and feel. Once more. And pause and feel. Do you feel it all different than when you sat down to watch this masterclass? What's different? this is already, and we've got much more to go. The plane has not even taken off yet. We've got much more to go, but this is the power of sacred sound. This is the power of sacred sound. So if you only took one thing, especially those of you who are newer to mantra practice, you could take this and practice it several times a day or more, especially when you need a reset. But don't wait until you're having a rough moment to practice, to use spiritual practices, to use alchemical emotional practices. Don't wait till things aren't going well, because by that point in time, you may have so much doubt that the practice will work that you don't use it, or you half use it, and then nothing changes. Yes, I said the D word, doubt. Doubt. You thought you were the only one having doubt. We all have doubt. It's a function of the mind. Do you know the ordinary mind does two things consistently and really well, even if we don't like them? It does two things very consistently and very well. It thinks something, and then the next thing it doubts it. Yeah, you're not the only one. Me too. It's crazy. It's crazy that we believe it. But you see, we have to go through a certain degree of development before we start to notice I have an awareness that can notice thinking happening in my mind, and this awareness is not touched by that thinking. This awareness is supremely free. This awareness has no agenda. This awareness has no attachment to any outcome. This awareness is whole and complete, and you can see that, taste that for yourself. But where are you tasting and seeing it from? Are you looking, as has been our habit until we know better, from your thinking mind at awareness? Is that the lens you're looking through? If you are, you won't see the fulfillment that's already present in awareness yet. It's there. It's like when you're really pissed off. How much can you appreciate the flower bed as you walk outside of your building? And yet, you've come out of, maybe when you come out of this masterclass, you walk outside and the trash on the street looks beautiful. Like, really, no kidding. Energy state. Energy state. So let's just have a rapid review of what we've covered so far, because a lot's been covered. So we're developing two main qualities in spiritual practice, regardless of your tradition. Embodiment of the recognition of emptiness. All forms are temporary. Attachment to any form that is temporary is the source of suffering now or down the road. Full stop. Buddha was really clear about this. All Buddhas have been really clear about this. Compassion. Compassion brings juiciness and love and joy to life. We can get caught in one side or another. So you, perhaps if you've been around me for a while, have heard me talk about the two wings of the bird of liberation, self-effort and grace. Well, another way of using that construct of the two wings of a bird is emptiness and compassion. The bird needs both wings to fly. So people, and I've met many of them, can get drunk on emptiness. They're only hanging out on the emptiness side of things. And there's lots we could unpack about that, like the fear of meeting difficult emotion that hasn't yet been metabolized from our past, dissociating in emptiness, or something else we don't know we can handle. We dissociate into emptiness or get drunk on emptiness, which is an avoidance of life. Life is here. We can enjoy it fully when we're not attached. Compassion, and if we go too far with just compassion and we don't see emptiness, we're going to actually be unwittingly caught up in empathy and over-empathizing. Empathy is a really important thing. It comes through the mirror neurons of our animal body that can feel everything that we're connected to when we're not checked out. And empathy tells us why to care. Compassion shows us how to care. Compassion is the care. So we want both. Chanting mantras, for most people that I've interacted with, you do it long enough, and long enough I mean in one set even, the heart just starts to vibrate and fill up. And I'll tell you that it's not impossible that you could go into fits of laughter when it really gets cooking, or cry, or both at the same time somehow. I call that craffing, crying and laughing. See, the chanting of these mantras is not just something we're doing, it's doing us. It's bringing greater and greater coherency to all the subtle energy anatomy, to the physical body. And I'm not going to go over all the research again, but there was a lot of it, not even all of it, that I put in one of the second email invitation, to those of you who hadn't already registered, about the science, the research around Sanskrit mantras. Now, something I want to touch on, because I received a question by email about this from somebody, really sincere question. Do mantras have to be repeated out loud to have these researched effects of transformation of the brain and the nervous system and coherency and autoimmunity and heart rate variability? No, no. In fact, while there's a great power to repeating mantras and chanting mantras out loud, they're actually more powerful by far internally. That doesn't mean give up chanting out loud. Making sound, here's another piece of science, it's lovely and delightful. Making sound, whether you're gargling, singing, humming, or chanting, tones up the vagus nerve, which runs from behind the ears all the way down into the gut and maybe all the way down to the pelvic floor, I believe. And when that sucker is toned up, there's greater autoimmunity, resilience emotionally and mentally and physically. So many things come online as the vagus nerve is toned up, and making sound is one of the ways to do that. So we don't want to miss out on that by grasping it. More power by doing mantras internally. Oh, more power. You will hear different mantras in this workshop. There is no formal initiation being given, so there's no ties. There's no strings attached. You can work with any of these in your own personal practice. I wouldn't suggest going out and teaching them to people necessarily. So let's go into the next mantra. And this mantra, Om Namah Śivāya Gurave Sac-cid-ānanda-mūrtaye Nishprapañcāya śantāya Nirālambāya tejase. Oh my God, I just lost half the audience. That's a lot of words. We're going to put it in the chat for those of you who are watching live, and it'll be below the video for those of you watching at a later now moment. Those of you who don't access the words, don't worry about it. Just receive the vibrations. So you're going to have the option here as I play this harmonium, which is a keyboard with a squeeze box on it. The Europeans brought it to India. It used to be on legs, and then the Indians cut off the legs and put it on the floor where they like to sit. So this mantra contains another mantra that we'll be chanting later, Om Namah Śivāya. Om Namah Śivāya is a profound mantra that doesn't usually require initiation. And it has Om, which we've already played with. Namah, which means I honor, I bow to, I am one with. Śivāya, the ground of being. What does that mean, this fancy Buddhist phrase, the ground of being? Well, let's just simplify it like we're going to grow some vegetables outside in a garden. So you've got ground. And from that ground, when it's fertile, which the ground of being of all the cosmos is incredibly, infinitely, inexhaustibly fertile. Those eggs don't dry up. The soil can grow anything. That's the ground of being. There's a ground of being for all of existence, the existence we know about and that we don't know about. Sometimes it's called the void. Sometimes it's called a cosmic womb or the cosmic yoni, to use Sanskrit. So Om Namah Śivāya Gurave is recognizing that this principle, there's a principle in consciousness that we call the guru, that is not any particular person or location actually. It's a principle of source consciousness that can reveal to us our true nature and that of everything else. And we call that the Guru in Sanskrit, from darkness to light, or from confusion and ignorance to full self-realization. So Om Namah Śivāya Gurave Sac-cid-ānanda, Sac-cid-ānanda, wow. Sat is the energy of being. You can think about this like an equilateral triangle. Sat, Chit, Anand. Anand is the bliss of wakefulness. It's so many other things too. But when you're really feeling lucid, wakeful, free from attachment, maybe you were just at a retreat or you did some special workshop, there's a blissfulness of not needing anything, not craving. Resting in your own coherency, resting in your own fullness, the fullness of your original nature. Chit is the energy of creation itself. So if Sat, the ground of being, the true ground of being, then the sprouts of Chit, energy moving to create things and become things like bodies and children and red balloons and cacao that melts and smells lovely in the glass. Anand, the bliss of being aware of all this. So Murti is the form. Om Namah Śivāya Gurave Sac-cid-ānanda-mūrtaye. Wow, the Guru is the form of being consciousness and bliss, and so am I. And brings peace, shanti, śantāya. And this blissfulness and this consciousness and this creative power requires no external support. It's Nirālambāya, needs no external support. None. So that which you are, which you already are, even if you don't yet taste it, is being consciousness and bliss, is the ground of being from which all of creation arises, including your body and personality and memories and future, and the things you like and don't like. But it's already whole and complete. And it's blissful when you recognize it. So I'm going to chant it 3 times. Some of you have been on retreat with me where we open every session with this. And you just see. And if you don't want to chant along, just receive the vibrations and see what you notice. You can do that eyes closed or eyes open. We're going to end after the 3 on a long Om, so you can all join in on the Om. Om Namah Śivāya Gurave Sac-cid-ānanda-mūrtaye Nishprapañcāya śantāya Nirālambāya tejase. Om Namah Śivāya Gurave Sac-cid-ānanda-mūrtaye Nishprapañcāya śantāya Nirālambāya tejase. Om Namah Śivāya Gurave Sac-cid-ānanda-mūrtaye Nishprapañcāya śantāya Nirālambāya tejase. Close your eyes for a moment. Follow these vibrations back to their source. Just use your imagination. You know what that is. Like you're following a trail of breadcrumbs. Just melt into the vibration. Relax into the vibration. Have the feeling that you're relaxing your mind into your body, all the way into the whole body, all the way down to your feet. Relaxing the mind into the body. And relaxing the body melting the body, settling the body into the earth, no matter how far below you that may be. Settle the mind into the body and melt the body into the earth. And notice what that feels like. So next we're going to chant something that's a lot easier for most of you, which is Shri Ram Jay Ram, Jay Jay Ram. Ram is one of my favorite mantras. I find myself spontaneously repeating it for many years when I'm not remembering that I'm repeating another mantra. Ram, 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 Ram. It was Gandhi's mantra. In fact, when he was shot, the last utterance out of his mouth was Ram, as he merged with the infinite, with the absolute. Shri is such a beautiful word that cannot be translated, and it's its own mantra. Shri is fullness, plenitude. Think of a ripe mango, so ripe and so full of juice, it's coming almost out of the skin. That's a version of Shri. Think of a lotus flower bursting in purples and blues to the morning sun. That is Shri. Think of the rising sun touching your body as you gaze from a mountaintop. That is Shri. Think of the smile of a baby gazing into your eyes. That is Shri. These are just a few different tastes of Shri. Ram is one of the many names of Vishnu. Vishnu is the force of creative power. So things get created, Brahma, then sustained. They stick around for a while, and there's a power that sustains them. And it's the energy of fullness and plenitude and Shri. Vishnu is that, and one of the names of Vishnu is Ram. Ram took a body thousands of years ago in Ayodhya, in a region known as Mithila, which is still there. It's the intersection of this area of Tibet, Nepal, and India. The same place in the same actually solar lineage, dynasty of kings, that the historical Buddha was born into. Mithila. So Ram is the energies associated with so many things, but victory. So just for a moment, sense, we place things in different places. We look for things. I say, where is joy in your field? There's a place you actually look. Where is victory in the field of your energy? Where is victory? For me, it's way out and up like that. Victory, yeah. Ram is victory. Jay means hail, or, like yes, yes to the victory of Ram, yes to the victory of darkness over light, yes to the victory of love over fear, love over criticism, love over hate. I'll just insert this right here. May the fruits of our practice in our meeting today, and every time you touch this work, uplift all beings as well as the earth. Setting motivation is very, very powerful for opening and unlocking greater energy pulsating in these mantras. Shri Ram Jay Ram, Jay Jay Ram. Really, really simple. I composed this melody a few years ago. It's probably my favorite one that I've created, but I might say that about another one later. I just love this one. It's really, really simple. So when you catch on, you can sing along with me. When we're in person, we do call and response. But here in this format, this is easier. So we'll do two of each. You'll see what I mean. Just follow along until you're ready to jump in. And please don't judge your voice. Just sing. Sing like you're singing I love you. This is a key to mantra. To all the ones you've ever loved and who will ever love you. You're singing I love you and you're wishing the highest through chanting the mantras. Shri Ram Jay Ram, Jay Jay Ram. aloud. We're going to do it 4 times each one. Shri Ram Jay Ram, Jay Jay Ram. 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 Okay, so we're going to do call and response because that feels more coherent. So as though we're in person, I'll be the call and you be the response, but just know I'm going to sing with you on every verse. Yeah? So at least once you're pausing and receiving and being sung to and letting in, you're loved, infinitely loved, no matter what you've ever thought about yourself. And see what happens when you let that in. Shri Ram Jay Ram, Jay Jay Ram. 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 Close your eyes or let them come to half closed and just notice what you're feeling. Settle into the vibrations, melt into the vibrations. The power and the joy of sacred sound. The joy and the power of sacred sound. We're not creating joy. We're opening to joy. We're not creating the power. We're opening to the power. The power is inexhaustible. The joy is inexhaustible. Anuttara, unsurpassable, unsurpassable. Anuttara is unsurpassable. What is it to consider, to imagine, to feel unsurpassable joy being available to you 24/7? And somebody says, but what about this place on the planet where this and this and this is happening? These horrible things, war, killing, so on. That's a good question. So do we serve these areas by contracting, tensing up, and offering those emotions? I'm not saying don't feel what needs to be felt. Grief needs to be felt fully. If it's suppressed, grief becomes anger and depression. And other emotions need to be felt without a label. In chanting, we can process a lot of emotion because we're breathing. The spinal position is ideally long and open. The chest is lifted, and we're bringing sound, which is profoundly healing. So things can heal very quickly. Realizations can open very quickly. So we can find joy in unexpected places and ways. And I'm just going to leave it open for you to be in a discovery about that. Another way that might be an easier entry point is to imagine being able to see beauty in the terrible. I don't mean pretend something is wanted when it's unwanted, that harm is somehow good. That's not what I mean. You have to really relax out of your ordinary thinking mind to sense what I'm pointing to and what is my direct experience. For example, here in Los Angeles, we had these horrible fires. I know many people who lost everything. In fact, actually, I have a friend in Montana whose house burned down that he and his wife built by hand over many years. Burnt down. I still don't know why yet, but it burnt down. They lost everything. And yet he was right away able to see beauty. And I, for sure, and many of us saw beauty here in Los Angeles. All the people who came together to help one another. Donating food, donating clothes, donating appliances, donating places to stay. That's so beautiful, powerful. We wish and we intend, may more of the beauty and the fullness of life be expressed without requiring suffering to bring it out. And yet if you look into your own personal circumstances, how many times have you had a great shift in consciousness by getting fed up with suffering? You reached a point where you're like, there's got to be more than this. And something opens in us in that moment to grace. The grace was already there, but there's something about us as human beings. I don't yet know exactly why, but it seems to be the case in all cultures, where we get lost in illusion and confusion and delusion. We create an act from our delusion, which invites more of same. We suffer the consequences of our own contraction. And in the heat of, in the throes of, in the depths of suffering, how many of us have opened, made a prayer, a request, and something happened every time? So having a regular practice is not just doing a practice on a consistent basis. I sat down, I did my practice, check. I brushed my teeth, check. I had my bowel movement, check. I washed my body, check. But were you there for it? Were you present with it? So setting intention and motivation is an important key to setting up a transformative practice every time you sit. So what is a way to do that? Well, one way is to set an intention that it be of benefit to more than just yourself and really feel connected to caring about that. May all beings in all realms, especially any who are actively suffering, recognize love, feel held, feel uplifted, feel supported. What does it feel like to imagine that's already so? That's motivation in your practice. Then you bring that through your whole practice. And you include yourself. You must include yourself or it's weird. Just to be simple about it, just weird. Like, why wouldn't you include yourself? I know why. Because we all have this thing called anavamala in Sanskrit, this root sense until it's dissolved, that covers up. It's like, it's just a big coating of bullshit. And the quickest way to remove bullshit is through the energy of mantra, to see through it. We got this coating of bullshit that gets us to believe there's something wrong with us. We're separate from creation. We're separate from source. We're separate from grace. And we have to work really hard for anything that happens, and it could go away overnight. Total bullshit. But through confirmation bias, we've proven it as though it was true. So mantra cuts through that. The more powerful the mantra, the more it cuts through. So setting your motivation. Now you set your motivation, yeah? Now you call in the support. That's another key part of this whole thing. You call in the support. Now calling it in is doesn't make sense if you're really following the non-duality of the way I've been teaching so far. Calling it in from where? It's already here. Yes, but are you experiencing it? If not, we call it in. Don't be goofy. We call it in. Call it in regularly. But really be present with calling it in. Can you imagine asking for $1 million tax-free, whatever that is in your country, and somebody's surely going to give it to you? They're like, of course, but you leave before they give it to you? That's weird. That's what I mean by don't be weird. If you pray for grace, stick around to receive it. Open yourself, yeah? And that's a learning curve. So you set your motivation, your intention. May all beings benefit, including myself. May we all be uplifted. May we be happy. May we be well. May we be free from suffering. May we feel thoroughly loved. However you go about that touches your heart. Keep it fresh. Keep it creative. Then you invoke support. Imagine right now, see, feel, or imagine with your eyes open or closed, that you're surrounded with a circle of support of great beings from any time or place. Especially, and bring close to you the ones who you have a direct personal connection to. Gurus, saints, sages, teachers, Mother Mary, Moses, the Baal Shem Tov, Neem Karoli Baba, whoever it might be. Bhagavan Nityananda. All around you in a circle. All around you. Even ones you don't have names for. Sense this. Let it be really real. All around you in a circle. Ready to support you. And ask sincerely, please help me in my practice. I take a leap in consciousness that sticks. May I recognize and embody more love for myself and all beings. May I recognize and embody more awakening for the sake of myself and all beings. And then see, feel, or imagine they're showering you with rays of light and grace. They're showering your physical body, your energy bodies, all the way to the bones, to the capillaries, to the bone marrow, saturating, drenched with this light and this grace that they're giving ceaselessly. See, feel, or imagine that they all come together, all these great beings, into a sphere of shimmering light above the top of your head. And let that sphere of light lower itself into the center of your chest. And light rays of this grace expand from the center of your chest in all directions, in all realms, in all dimensions, in all times, in all places. Notice what that feels like. You're invited to bring this into your practices, your regular practices. We're going to chant our next mantra. And this one is another name of Vishnu, Narayana. And I'm going to invite you to bring another quality into this sacred sound practice, which is visualization. And it's just simply to imagine that the mantra is shimmering golden light. All around you is shimmering golden light. And in all directions, emanating through you is shimmering golden light. So aside from Jaya and Hare, we've put this in the chat. Those of you who are watching it later now, you'll see it underneath the video, the words. So Narayana is a name for Vishnu, the sustaining force of creation in Sanskrit. Jaya, hail or victory. Govinda is another name for Vishnu, closely associated with Krishna. There's a lot of compassion and care. So much compassion, easier to access in the names of Vishnu. Narayana, Krishna, Govinda, Gopala. Gopala is his name as a cowherd. Took an incarnation herding cows and spreading joy and love. Hare, hail or victory. So this one, we're going to do it similarly to the last one. I think we're just going to chant call and response once on each line. And if you just want to receive the vibrations, you can do that too. But let your spine be long, your chest be lifted, tuck your shoulder blades into the pockets your pants pockets in the back or your imaginary pants pockets. It gives that lift. Breathe deeply and fully, especially if you don't normally in life. This call and response. So receive it from me once, this next one, and then the following one, we'll chant it together. I want you to really notice what it's like to receive more. Narayana, Narayana, Jaya Govinda, Hare. Close your eyes or let them be half closed and just notice the vibrations, notice what you're feeling. Melt into that the way salt melts into the ocean. Soften the soles of your feet like you're opening fists with your mind, and do the same with the palms of your hands. Soften the four corners of your eyes, the region inside and around your ears. Soften your tongue and all the muscles of the pelvic floor, perineum. So one of the great keys to practice is when you finish the formal portion of the practice, so we'll use the practice we just did of chanting Narayana. When you complete it, you want to sit. Why do you want to sit quietly? You want to sit quietly, one, for the integration of the practice. There's way more going on than just the actual period of repeating the mantra. That's the beginning of the practice. The energy is moving and you want to be present for it to unfold itself, integrate itself, calibrating with your body, energy bodies, mind, emotions, and so on. So if you have a practice, are you giving yourself enough quiet sitting, meditation, when you complete the formal portion of the practice, where you're not trying to do anything, you're just deeply relaxing. So if there's something to do, it's to deeply relax the body, which puts you into a more of a receptive mode. Can you imagine cooking a beautiful banquet, a beautiful feast, and then not eating it, like leaving the house? Different thing entirely if you were making the banquet for other people as an offering of love. Then there's great joy. You're experiencing that the whole way through. The more joy and love we infuse into the practice we're doing, the more the practice opens up. Part of working with sacred sound, all sound is essentially sacred, to be clear. But some sounds don't feel like that. Why? Because we're not bringing a sacred attitude of love, of compassion, of non-grasping emptiness to the practice. So if you never ever work with mantra or chanting after this masterclass, but you pull out some things to bring into your practice, there's a lot here. Setting your motivation, setting a clear intention that includes yourself, and it also is a much bigger vision than just impacting yourself, for the benefit of all beings, or a select group of beings. We're going to do this next practice, which will be a little bit longer, with a slower melody. We're going to be working with Om Namah Śivāya. Om Namah Śivāya can carry you into profound territory of wakefulness because it's embedded, it's encoded into the sound frequencies already. What is it to recognize yourself as the ground of being? Really, not just as a thought, but to taste that as one with the creative power and the ground from which creative power arises. What is it to actually experience that? It's available. If it doesn't happen immediately, you don't quit. Some things have to be cultivated. And a good example is a fire. So some wood burns very quickly. Some wood, if it's green, it's just been freshly chopped down, has to dry out before it catches fire. So some of us are like green wood when we come to different practices. We're trying, we're putting our energy into the practice, we mean well, but we don't seem to be having an experience. What's going on? Well, we've got some qualities of green wood. They need to dry out. Doesn't mean nothing's happening. A lot's happening. A lot's happening. Some of you who've been working with me for many years, in the early years, you wondered, is any of this practice adding up to anything? And then yet, look at you now. A lot was happening the whole time. The whole time. But the ordinary mind is so habituated to looking for something to be wrong in life, something to be missing, something to criticize, something to gossip about, something to feel bad about. So that's part of the greenness that needs to dry up before the fire of consciousness can burn fully. That fire of consciousness that warms more than just ourselves, that transforms the experience of being alive for everyone connected with us. So Om Namah Śivāya. Om Namah Śivāya. There's 3 different S sounds in Sanskrit. There's the sibilant S, the S, sounds like a snake hissing. S, the tongue is just behind the teeth. Then there's the sh sound, which is in Shiva or Shiva. Shh. Or you're telling somebody to be quiet. Shh. The tongue is still right behind the teeth for that. There's another sh sound. We're not doing it in any of this chanting, but I'm just sharing it with you. Where the tongue is pointed to the roof of the mouth, to the hard palate. It's a different sound. Here's a really cool factoid that some of you might know or forgotten or have never heard in this life. Repeating mantras out loud is yoga for your mouth. It's literally through the tongue and the energy centers, directing and shaping energy. So it matters. All shape and direct energy through different subtle and physical nerve centers. So cool. So cool. I've not read this book, so I'm recommending it based on people I care about and trust who've recommended it. Pir Vilayat Khan, and I don't know the name of the book, and we don't need to go looking it up necessarily, wrote a book about sound. So people who really want to really go deep in understanding the power of sound have found Pir Vilayat Khan's work very fascinating. And Caitlin, if you find it easily, you can put it in the chat, but don't distract yourself from the experience. So we're going to chant Om Namah Śivāya in a melody that composed itself actually rather quickly. I was on retreat in Santa Cruz with a lovely group of people in this former chapel that had been transformed into like a temple space. And behind me was this glass doors to the outside where there's this waterfall, this man-made waterfall. You could hear the water rushing over the rocks. 1440 multiversity. And we chanted Om Namah Śivāya. So the invitation for your intention for this practice, to see how it feels different than other intentions you've been playing with today, is to do this as a form of affirmative prayer. There's 2 main types of prayer. One is petitionary prayer. That's asking for something. Oh God, please make me less of an asshole today. Have you ever prayed that? I have. When you're really kind of grumpy in the morning, you didn't get your tea or your coffee, and you're like, oh, please, God, don't let me be a jerk today at work. Let me be really kind and patient and compassionate, right? We've all been there, especially moms. Kid gets on your last nerve, and you know it's still your kid, but you know, you're on your last nerve. Then there's affirmative prayer, which is not asking for something. It's affirming something is already so. Emotionally, energetically, like really emanating that feeling tone that it's already so. So the invitation for this particular chant, as an experiment, as a discovery, as a thought experiment, is to repeat the mantra for the highest benefit, self-realization, and recognition of supreme love of everybody who's participating in this master class anytime, any place, or even thinking of the master class. So here we go. And this one we can all chant together. Oh Follow these vibrations back to their source within consciousness and melt there. Rest the mind into the body into the earth, and the earth into the field of the mantra. Om Namah Śivāya. Om Namah Śivāya. And if it flows, you can spontaneously repeat this internally as you're resting in the vibration. Om Namah Śivāya. Om Namah Śivāya. Om Namah Śivāya. Let your meditation carry you all the way. If you know you're not done yet meditating, and this is a video replay for you, stop the recording and continue your meditation. When you're ready to come out, you can press play again, and we'll all complete together. Very gently begin to deepen your breath. You can start to move your body and begin to come out of your meditation, letting the very last thing you do be the opening of your eyes, only when you feel truly ready. If your eyes are already open for the meditation, then you can slowly open them further. Maybe stretch your neck a little bit. Now reflect. What's different since you sat down for this master class? What's changed? How are you feeling? What's the quality of how your body feels? Likely many of you are feeling vibration, maybe subtle, but vibration throughout the body. What's the quality of your mind? What's the quality of your breathing? If you knew yourself historically as a shallow breather, breathes into the upper chest, experiences anxiety, what's changed? Is the breathing any lower in your body, more full, more easy? With practice, you can live like this. With practice. So let's dedicate the merits of our practice, the beautiful energy we built, the dedication of the merit. May the fruits of our practices uplift all beings with no one and nothing left out, especially any who are actively suffering. May we be happy. May we be well. May we feel thoroughly loved. May it be so. And so it is. Keep your practice strong for the sake of all beings, especially those here on this little planet, this little blue marble we call Earth. We have so many opportunities to gather. For those of you who are really feeling the opening of chanting, particularly the chanting of Om Namah Śivāya, be on alert for the next meditation immersion with me, where it's a half-day retreat, where we drop deeply into Om Namah Śivāya in so many different ways. It's an awakening immersion. We call it a meditation immersion. We should call it an awakening immersion. Immersing in the field of wakefulness through mantra, meditation, and more. And there's so many programs you can participate with. Scroll through the website. Let your intuition lead, not your ordinary mind. Some of you are called to work with me one-on-one. You'll know. There's a page for that. And so you take the next step. Grace is real. It doesn't have to take a lot of time, but it does take practice. Om Namah Śivāya.